Okay. Is it working? So it looks like, I don't know what issue I had with, I think it was the same thing that happened with my last stream where like the Wi-Fi just decided to stop working. So that's great. I love that for me. Welcome back. Sorry about that. I don't know why YouTube is being kind of horrible today. But let's get back to what we were talking about. Hopefully people will see this and come back in here. But yeah, it must be the Wi-Fi for sure. I love my reliable internet connection. Maybe I need to, maybe I'll need to like upgrade my plan or something. That's annoying, but we will look into that. Okay, let's go back to our riveting conversation before we were so rudely interrupted by YouTube. Chat is not working on YouTube for some reason, but I can at least see it here in OBS, so it should be fine. Okay, let me share again the screen. I don't know. Oop. My Wi-Fi is as fast as last year's Ferrari. That's basically right. This is odd. I'm not sure why. The screen is not being shared unless I am missing something. An encoder overload. That's why it's lagging. Tell me more about that. Guys, like I said, streaming is like very new to me, so I feel like I need to learn as much as I can about this. OBS being OBS. Oh no. I guess these things are common then. Yikes. Well, that's not great, but we will sort that out, I'm sure. Oh yeah, it is quite laggy. Ah, there we go. It's the best software for streaming, but has still a million issues. Yikes. Well, that's not great. Excuse me, I'm very interested in this. Jaden Stark, did you hear that Kimi's old engineer is going to be Hamilton's interim engineer? Kimi as in Raikkonen, I presume, right? I did not hear about that. That is good, I guess. Is that bad? I guess I'm not familiar. But I assume that's just like somebody from Ferrari that they put in the meantime. Well, as long as it's a temporary thing, I think that should be fine. What I worry about is that, you know, Ferrari just chooses somebody of their own to replace Adami, and it basically nothing improves or changes. You know what I mean? Like the issue is that I don't know. I'm just worried that they'll put whoever Ferrari thinks is best and not whoever Hamilton thinks is best, you know, because it is his race, and I feel like he should have a say in who is his engineer. Maybe not, but I mean, considering that Ferrari's paying 50 million for him, they might as well, take whatever feedback and advice he has, and if Hamilton's not comfortable with his engineer, they better get him whoever um whoever he wants. They're apparently hiring someone from McLaren for the full-time role. Okay, never mind then, I guess. I mean, unless this is somebody who like worked with Lewis at McLaren like a million years ago, then I mean, I don't know. I don't like that. I don't feel very good about that because, well, you know how McLaren are. You know how they've been. I would rather, nobody from McLaren gets involved with any of the drivers I like. And that includes Oscar Piastri. I think he should leave that team. So, um I don't know. I don't super love that, but we'll just wait, I guess, until more things are confirmed. But frankly, I think that whoever they choose needs to be like approved by Hamilton. You know what I mean? So let me see this over here. Encoding from software to hardware. Let me see if I can figure this out. Thank you so much, man. I love all the advice that all of you are giving me. Oh, I do not have the option to switch it to hardware, so that is interesting. Not ideal, to be sure. So, yeah, I guess we will just deal with what we have as of right now. And, if I become more of a serious streamer in the future, which I don't know if that'll be the case, then we will do something about that, But for now, let's just deal. Once I put Oscar in Red Bull in F1 Manager and he actually won the championship ahead of Max. See what I mean? It's just McLaren's not it for me. And so obviously, McLaren swings a lot, but yeah, I don't I hope they don't actually hire somebody from like McLaren in the current state of things. So it's all right. Just hoping that they actually find somebody good for Hamilton, somebody of his choosing, or at least that he has some input in that decision. Okay, let's get back to talking about the Ferrari livery, which is what we were, which is why we were here. Like I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted, I think I do like this Ferrari quite a bit. I don't know. I think there's still things that maybe I still need to like spend some time with, sit with it, and like get acquainted and accustomed to it. Like having all this white here at the top was a little bit jarring at first for me personally. I feel like, I don't know, I still expect the car to be like mostly pretty red, and so seeing, or maybe black and yellow, and so seeing white is kind of, I don't know, it's not like unusual or anything, but it's something that like I feel like this amount of white is a lot and I need to like, let's say, process it. But I don't think it's too bad. I quite like it, actually. I'm surprised, but I think I do quite like it. And of course, I can see that they've kind of thrown it back to like the Ferraris of like 2016, 10 years ago. When, Ferrari had 2 world champions in their midst. Not that they achieved much of anything, but still they had the white over here. So very reminiscent of that. And I think that's also kind of why, if you remember, the race suits are also very reminiscent of these, like the ones that they had during this era. See, here's literally a comparison right here. This is why they did I think the white collar and the white shoulders. It was very much like throwing it back to 2016. I don't know why they've chosen that era specifically, because again, yeah, Ferrari had 2 world champions, but it's not like they had a lot of success or anything. I mean, I guess throwing it back to Kimi Raikkonen sort of makes sense, since he was the last driver to really achieve anything much with with Ferrari. So fair enough, I guess. But yeah, otherwise I don't really know why they've chosen this year in particular. Although I do think that there's also an element here of like the like 70s Ferrari and throwing it back to Niki Lauda. I think that's what we were talking about in the last stream when we talked about these race suits, or maybe a few streams ago. I don't even know anymore. Ferrari F1 1970s. But yeah, so this was like the type of car that Lauda was driving, and you can see just full of white here at the top. So clearly also throwing it back to this. If you remember, last year at the Italian Grand Prix, Ferrari did a livery that was inspired by this one, by this car, which we can look for. Monza 2025. It was this one. And interestingly enough, I think I thought it looked really good at the time, but now looking at it next to the 2026 livery, this is actually pretty ugly. I think it's also the like spokes of the wheels having this like golden like ninja star situation doesn't do it for me. Was that in this car? It was. Okay, that's fair enough. But here it doesn't look as bad. I'm just kind of like, I don't like it. Maybe it's the lighting of this photo, or maybe it's the again, the darker shade of red that they used in these cars. It could be any number of reasons, but like, you know, it doesn't look nearly as good as this car. So yeah. But you can see that they definitely referenced this, right? So yeah, we're kind of taking it back to Niki Lauda's Ferrari, which again makes sense. And also to Kimi Raikkonen's days in Ferrari. And I guess this is just all a very Ferrari thing to do. I feel like they love to throw it back to these two particular people because they're, I mean, Niki Lauda, one of the most successful Ferrari drivers in history, and then Kimi Raikkonen, last person to win a title with Ferrari. So they typically like to throw it back to those sort of like glory days of theirs. I feel like I've talked about it many times that this is one of the things that like annoys me about Ferrari, that they're very like stuck in the past and just trying to like throw it back to the glory days without actually making any moves towards like actually going back to that, you know what I mean? Like they'll always be doing like tributes and stuff, or like references, or just like using that old like prestige and aura that they still carry without ever actually, you know, making a competitive car or like making good managerial decisions. So yeah, don't love that. Yeah, you make a good point, Yushman, that there's fewer sponsors in the car now, and that's why it looks a little bit cleaner. Because this is like full of things. Like this is a little bit overwhelming in my opinion. So yeah, I wonder which sponsors have left, but yeah, probably since 2025 was such a dismal season for Ferrari, a lot of people left. But I mean, if it makes the car look nicer, I I don't care. Obviously the team cares, but I don't care. I would rather there's fewer things on here, because then it can look more like this. Like, look at that. There's maybe like 2 sponsors on this car. And they're all actually, a lot of the sponsors are down there at the bottom, so they don't really bother. They don't really affect the look of the car. Oh, that's wonderful. We should go back to that. We should put all the sponsors like here in the like exposed carbon part of the car, and that's it. Leave the rest red. I'm just saying, that's my 2 cents. That's my bold proposal that the FOM will definitely not accept. None of the teams will like that decision, but I like it, so they should listen to me. So yeah, that's kind of my view of this car. Oh, there's another thing we need to talk about, which is the Zin sponsorship. I did not realize until stuff just started coming out for Ferrari this year that Zin had become a sponsor. And I also did not realize it was such a major sponsor, because they're literally right there, like right above the driver's number. I feel like they're also in the mirrors. Like, they're kind of everywhere. They're right here, like on the side of the like engine cover. Wait a second, let's find it. Yeah, they're like right there below the halo. Like, they're everywhere on this freaking car. And I feel like they were probably also on the race suits as well. So yeah, I didn't realize that they would be such a huge sponsor. And I mean, personally, I mean, I don't what's the word? I don't participate, I don't partake in like these things. But I personally am kind of annoyed, because I feel like, if like this is obviously this is obviously a loophole that like a lot of these like nicotine companies have found, right? Because the only thing that's banned from being sponsored is like tobacco products, right? So there's all of these like vaping companies and like Zyn and stuff that are coming in, and they're like, well, we don't have tobacco, so can we like, sponsor these teams? And they let them, right? Because I guess like nicotine itself is not what's banned. So that's why there's like all of these brands that are coming in and getting away with like sponsoring teams, and putting probably a lot of money into it and having their names really huge, um, because it's just like a legal loophole, I guess. So I find that very annoying, because like I feel like it kind of defeats the purpose of like having banned tobacco sponsorships. You know what I mean? It's just like, like, I don't think necessarily that the tobacco is, it's part of the problem, but I don't think it was the whole problem. I don't think that was necessarily the issue with why it shouldn't be sponsoring Formula One. I think it had probably more to do with the nicotine. Like, that to me seems like also a very harmful agent that I think that should be considered when we're talking about who gets to sponsor a team. So I just kind of feel like they should have gone like all or nothing. You know what I mean? You either ban all nicotine products or you don't ban any of them. So yeah, that's what annoys me. It's just like, I don't like that cigarettes don't get to sponsor teams, but like vapes do. Like, that annoys me. You either do all of them or you do none of them, personally. Like, it's true that obviously cigarettes are more harmful than vapes and stuff, but they're still really fucking bad. Like, everybody that I know is addicted to that shit. And I'm just like, dude, like, that's horrible. I don't know. I think honestly that vapes probably get more addictive in a way, because they taste good. Like, they taste like fucking like rainbow, passion fruit, mango, whatever. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's just not it, you know? Like, I don't think it's um I just think it defeats the purpose completely. So, that's just me though. Um Probably people have other opinions. Um but I'm just like, I don't know. And honestly, you know what? I feel like the tobacco sponsorships have way better branding. And I feel like they were able to do some really cool things with like Formula One cars. Like those liveries of like, the 80s and 90s looked amazing, frankly. So I just feel like if we're going to let nicotine uh, products sponsor F1 teams, it might as well be Marlboro. I would prefer that it's Marlboro than Zyn, because Zyn doesn't inspire anything in me. Like I don't care about them or their branding, but Marlboro, they made some, like, they caused Formula One cars to look so fucking cool. So that's all kind of what I'm saying. Um, but I would rather that no nicotine products can be on F1 cars personally. But if we're going to have them, then we should let all of them do it. You know what I mean? Mile 7, huge. I mean, that Renault car, my God. Like, it just, yeah. I don't know, man. Rothmans. Um, I think wasn't John Player Special also a cigarette brand? I don't even know for sure. The whole like British American racing thing, that was crazy. That was like entirely put together by a tobacco company. Um, and they had like those two really cool liveries. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of saying like we either do all of them or we do none of them, you know? Cuz like if we're going to promote products that are, oh yeah, oh my God, Camel, of course, the Camel Williams. Oh, incredible. Yes. Um like if we're going to advertise products that are really bad for your health and can give you like, lung cancer, I guess nicotine alone doesn't do that. But like if we're going to promote like really addictive products that can be really harmful to people, then it's like all or nothing. You know what I mean? Like we need to clear that situation. Anyway, um we've talked about this a little too long. There was something that I wanted to comment on, but yeah, I just don't care about Zyn personally. Seeing them on a Ferrari car is not going to make me buy it. Maybe I'm sure it would make a lot of people buy it. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, and I agree this is an old comment, but kind of a weird sponsor for Lewis to be promoting. I agree because I feel like he's very like no talks kind of guy. I mean, he's vegan. He doesn't drink, as far as I can tell, because he has a vegan tequila company. Like, it seems like not something that aligns with the kind of lifestyle that he wants to promote. So, he's very like eco-friendly, very conscious about a lot of things. So, yeah, I'm just kind of like, nah. I don't care about these Gen Z addictions personally. That's kind of where I'm at. As a Gen Zer, I'm like, you all look like losers smoking your rainbow vapes. I don't know. That's my opinion though. Anyway, that's my take on the Ferrari. That's basically all that I wanted to comment on. Again, I think I like it quite a bit. Not necessarily the greatest car I've ever seen in my life, but I like it. And it's certainly better than last year's, better than like the recent ones that we've been having. Let me actually take a look back at the 2024 one, because I'm curious. This wasn't bad. In my opinion, this was actually pretty good. I think 2024 was just like a peak year for Ferrari in many ways. I mean, the car was running great. Carlos got 2 victories, which was awesome. And for me, the suits looked really great that year. But also the car, like looking back at this is a nice car. I don't know. I don't know what. Oh, this was the Miami livery. No, this was ugly. This was really ugly. But the actual car, I mean, I think it looked great. I don't know. Am I like, is this an unpopular opinion? I don't know. But yeah, I think this is great. Like I genuinely I think this is really nice. So I kind of That's why seeing so much white is a little bit jarring to me because I feel like they were coming from like an era where they've been doing mostly like yellow and black. Like those were kind of the primary secondary the main secondary colors that Ferrari was using to accompany the red. And so now they've kind of done like a harsh like turn to white and it's interesting. It's just something that I still need to like wrap my head around a little bit. But I do like the what they did with this livery, honestly. I think it's really funny also that for these like promotional shots they have the 44 here and the 16 here. I think that's thoughtful, you know? Like instead of just showing one of the cars and making it look like you know, like they favor one driver over the other or that kind of thing. They put both in the same car. Like I think that's thoughtful. It's a nice touch. I think that Mercedes did the same thing as well. Maybe like oh no, no. This is a 12. They're both 12s. So teams will typically post like, you know, some photos of one car, some photos of the other. So like like a few photos of just the 44 car, a few of just car 16, right? But Ferrari does it in a thoughtful way where they actually do both numbers at the same time. I thought that was cute. They've done it before, but I think it's really cute. And, you know, this is what McLaren should be looking at if they want to look, you know, unbiased and like we like both of our drivers equally. This is what you have to do. This will solve all of your problems, McLaren. This is all you need to do. No, I'm kidding. I'm absolutely kidding. But yeah, I love it. P19 or P21 and P22 have never looked this good. They've never looked so good. P11 in the constructors has never looked so good. That's all I have to say. Dear God, I really pray that this Ferrari is good, because if not, then that means probably like 99% chance that Lewis will retire, and he will probably retire on an absolute low if the car is bad, and I just can't bear that happening. After how incredible this man's career has been, for him to fall so low would just break my heart, and to retire that way, it would just be heartbreaking. So this car better be so good. That's all I need this year. And I don't even like Ferrari, but you know, I'm gonna join y'all Ferrari fans in this. Like, I need this car to be so good. So Charles will probably leave too. I don't know. I feel like Charles should leave. That's my opinion. He should, because Ferrari's never gonna give him what he wants, and he's wasting his time there. But I don't know if he is going to leave, because he's just way too attached to that team at this point, I feel like. So I don't know. Remains to be seen, but I don't see that happening for sure. I mean, he's the king of the world at that team. Like, that team basically functions for him. It works around him. So, yeah, we will see, I guess. Again, we still don't know anything. We'll have to wait until the tests. Let's put this livery in the Verham bot fighting for the midfield. Oof! Hamverbot in the midfield? That is brutal. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Verhambot, or Hamverbot more properly. Hamverbot all in the midfield is... Ooh, I shiver at the thought. That is horrible, but it could easily happen. Oh my god. Oh, that is horrible. Ooh, I don't want to think about that. Okay. Let's rank this Ferrari. I think easily it's going to be in the A tier. Now, does it go to S tier? That is what I want to debate. For me, it's probably A tier. I would probably rank it like a 7.58 out of 10. Do not, hey, people in the comments, do not manifest Leclerc going to Aston Martin, because I will murder you. Because that obviously means that Alonso will retire, and I do not like that idea. So please do not speak it into existence. And anybody who's saying, "Oh, they'll get rid of Stroll to put Leclerc," no, they will not. They will literally not. He's literally the owner's son. They will not do that. Um, anyway, with that out of the way, I think that the Ferrari needs to go in A. Do I like it as much as the Mercedes? See, that's where the tier list I feel like is a little bit limited versus an actual ranking of like 1 to 11. Cuz I feel like the Mercedes and the Ferrari are not the same. I think I prefer the Ferrari a slight bit. I don't know. Maybe it's just because the colors are more fun. Like, I do like, how bright and colorful this one is versus how, like, corporate this looks. Oh, something else about this car, actually. I don't really like how the Petronas here on the side pod is overlapped with the blue Petronas line. I guess they did that to like link the two together. It's like, hey, the reason we put this teal in the car is because of Petronas. But I don't like the overlap. I think that this Petronas could have been scooted a little bit down and kind of go in this empty black space here. I don't think that would have been a problem because now we have like this whole bottom part of the car is so empty, and then here we just have like an amalgamation, like a lump of like 3 different things happening together. I would have personally moved the Petronas down. I don't think it needs to be overlapping the line. And it's like, we already know that the car is teal for Petronas. It has been teal for many, many, many years. So I think that we will be fine. That's my my other comment about this this livery. Anyways, where do we put the Ferrari livery? I'm gonna put it at least in A, because I do think it's worthy. Like, it's a notable. You know what I mean? It's like, it's good. It's like in the it's an A minus maybe, or a B plus. I think that's where it's at. It's a low A, I think. Oh, to rank on a particular tier, you put the Ferrari ahead of the Merc. Okay, so if I did this, then I would be saying I like the Ferrari more than the Mercedes. Okay, okay, okay. That is interesting. I actually never thought about that. It makes a lot of sense. I just kind of consider all the items in the category the same, but that makes sense. Okay. So, yeah, what do you all think? Do you think the Ferrari is better than the Mercedes? I just feel like maybe I just like seeing more color on it. So maybe I would. Oh, I can zoom in. I mean, these photos are like really tiny, but this is what we have so far. People are asking me to look at the Haas again. Let's see. Haas. Apparently the top view is not very favorable. Ah, I know what you mean. Is it just because of these like vents along like the side pod that it looks kind of weird? That's fair. I mean, to be fair, the actual car will not look like this. Like, this is probably just like a model, like a fake car that they kind of threw together, and the actual car will probably not look like this. But they might have like these vents here, so I don't know. I think my thing with like top views of Formula 1 cars, at least of the like the more recent Formula 1 cars, they look so like yonic. I think that's the word for it. They look like a vagina. This happens with all the cars. So the top view is never necessarily going to be the most favorable. So, you know, People are comparing it to a bidet. I mean, that's fair too. That's a fair comparison. I guess because it's white too. It's like the like porcelain white of like a toilet. So that's fair enough. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like the top view of cars sometimes is not the most flattering. In any case, like for example, even this one, like oh, actually, this does look so nice, but that's just because the side pods, like from the top view, are so clean. They don't have any sponsors, and that it looks very nice. But this also looks yonic in my opinion. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like it's all of them. So sorry if I ruined F1 cars for you, but which is also interesting because gives box the slap a whole new meaning. Honestly, box has a different meaning. Yeah, fair enough. Um, to be fair, it's interesting because I feel like Formula One being so like such a traditionally like male dominated sport, obviously. I feel like there's something like F1 cars probably are thought of like a more like phallic thing, you know, even with like this nose being so like long and stuff. I feel like people probably think of these cars as like phallic. Um, but to me, they've always been more yonic, actually. So uh, you're welcome for that, for ruining F1 cars for you forever, perhaps. Anyway, so that's why I'm kind of like, you know, the top view is never something that I think too much about, especially because also most of the time when you're looking at the car, you're going to see the side and the front and maybe the back. So the top is not really that concerning. Um, I still think this car looks really nice. I don't know. I mean, obviously, like Haas doesn't have a branding that is necessarily my favorite, um, necessarily, but I like it. I don't know. I personally just like this car. Maybe, you know what? I don't know. Going back and forth with the Ferrari, like, is the Ferrari better? Hmm. Hmm. I don't know. What do we think? Ferrari above Haas? Maybe I need to take Haas out of the S tier. The Red Bull is staying in the S tier. I'm sorry. I'm going to stick to my guns here. I don't know if people have other opinions. I'm sure that when we actually see the Red Bull on the track, it will not look as pretty. But I personally just really like the Red Bull. I think I fell in love with it when I saw it, and I just can't like ignore that. So I'm gonna leave the Red Bull there. Like for me right now, it is the best car. Um, but yeah, between the Haas and the Ferrari, do people have thoughts? People seem to think that the Haas is better. Okay. Maybe we will leave the Haas there then. I just feel like it looked very nice to me. And you're right, like the GR, the inclusion of GR, I feel like has really elevated this car. Like last year it did not look like now it looks more serious, you know? It's like, yeah, this is a Formula 1 car. The other one was more like, oh, we're just having fun around here. Does that make sense? Like I just feel like the fact that the whole car is white and they've added the Gazoo Racing, it just adds a touch. It adds something really nice to it. Um that I just really like. I like the sharpness of it. Maybe it's a little too much, whereas, you know, the Ferrari is maybe a little mm, more classic, more rounded shapes, more like, you know, harkening back to like a more traditional car, which I always like. I feel like I always like, you know, a throwback to a retro car because the old cars, I mean, they're just so beautiful. Like this is gorgeous. Also, I love the font in which the name of the driver was written. They did this here too. Like they put it in the cars too, I think in the suits. I love this font. I think it's so cute and so good, and I wish that like more teams had this kind of thing. Anyway, like we should go back to this. We should go back to this beautiful uh typography. Anyhow, yeah, I'm gonna, I think, leave it as it is right now because I do really like the Haas. The Ferrari is slowly gaining points in my list, but for now we're going to leave it there, top of the A tier. Again, maybe like an A minus is what I would give the car. Maybe it'll go up to like a solid A, but for now it's more or less an A minus, and I think that the Mercedes maybe is a B plus. Again, the design is really nice, and I really, again, the AMG lines I think are wonderful. Like that's a nice creative decision. Whoever did that probably deserves a race. Whoever thought of that, at least. Um, like I think the car is lovely, but at the end of the day, it's still like just, you know, good old corporate AMG Petronas car. And the Microsoft is really not doing it for me. I think, honestly, for all the like worries that we had about this, I think that Ferrari did a better job integrating the HP logo than Mercedes did integrating the Microsoft logo. Is this a hot take? I don't know. What do people think? Do people agree with me? I think like I genuinely I really don't dig this Microsoft. Um but they did a better job here, frankly, in my opinion. So, I think we're going to leave the Ferrari ahead of the Mercedes. Again, Ferrari towing the line between A and A minus. I think the Mercedes is like a B plus. I'm going to put it in the A. Maybe it's an A minus. I'm going to leave it in the A category just because the B ones are worse. I guess we can also just like do something like this. Put a little more breathing room into things. What do people think about that? I don't know if the Mercedes is worthy of a B though. Like I'm saying B plus, but maybe it is an A minus. I mean, I don't think the car is bad, and then again, this will probably, if things go as they are looking, this will probably be the winning car. This will be the constructors' champion winner. So we're gonna have to get used to it, I guess. And Microslop. You know what? Yeah, we can call it Microslop. I feel like all of these like big tech companies that are just like going crazy with useless AI products just annoy me. Like I don't want that. I didn't ask for that. So, yeah, I'm kind of like thinking, because this car again, like, is nice, but it's just like not inspiring. So maybe we leave it in the B. And if more teams come along here and get in the B tier, this one might well be ahead of all of them. Just because, I don't know, they've done some cool stuff, but overall, like, it's still the same old Mercedes. We're going to put it in the B tier. And then for the C, I have V-Carb and Audi, with V-Carb being ahead of Audi. Maybe V-Carb needs to go up. I don't know, because let's look at the V-Carb again. V-Carb F1 2026. Because we've seen it on track, and on track it looks worse than it did at the presentation, the Red Bull presentation. because the contrast between the dark blue and the black is a lot harsher, and I don't love that, personally. Like, you can see the exposed carbon fiber a lot more than in the presentation, and I don't think that it looks very good. But here it looked great because they put, like, the perfect lighting on it, and so the blue looks a little bit more subtle, and it blends a lot better with the black, and so it doesn't look nearly as bad. Um, so, like, in theory, I don't mind the design, but I think in practice, it's going to look a lot worse. So that's why I'm kind of like putting it in the C tier. Maybe it's like a C plus. I don't think it's like a really low C. Like, it's still definitely passing. It's passing the assignment, but it's not getting like the best grade. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of how I feel about it. Um, and also another thing that I don't like is that like the visa on the side pod looks so lopsided. Like, I don't know why I should find a better picture of it, but I don't know why they've made it like they've created this like lob of white that kind of drops down to the side, and that's the visa, and it's like super tilted. Like, I feel like I would have put it more kind of along the surface of the side pot so that it would follow the natural shape of it, like the actual mold to the shape of the car a little bit more, rather than like dropping it down like that. Personally, though, that's just my opinion. Um, but yeah, I mean, the thing is, again, like, the car in principle doesn't look bad. Like, in these photos, it looks really great, but these photos are like staged. Um, and they're staged very nicely, and so you don't really even notice the exposed carbon quite as much, and the blue looks really nice and shiny, like those navy blue details, but the actual car on the track just doesn't look good. So that's kind of why, like, I think this is more of the real rating that this livery is going to get from me. You know what I mean? I feel like we should also be adding an F tier for like, you've absolutely failed the assignment. But I mean, maybe we won't need it. I doubt any of these liveries will be truly like horrendous, but you know, still. So this C plus for V-Carb, I think represents like a real grade, whereas these other ones, because we've only ever seen like photos of it that have been staged in some manner, like at the presentation with like the lighting that they wanted that made the car look good, or like renders, or like these, like, you know, staged photos that also have like very thoughtful lighting and make the car look its best. These are probably not going to be very representative of the real thing, but it's all we have to go off of. So until we see the cars actually on the track, which we'll probably get some photos from the Barcelona shakedown, like they'll get filtered and we'll be able to look at the cars. But if not, you know, in the Bahrain test, we'll be able to see it. Until then, though, we can't really give the cars an accurate rating. So we're just gonna, these are like tentative scores, you know, these are temporary based on what we do have until we have a more clear image of what the cars look like. And once we do, then these ratings are definitely subject to change. So the V-Carb would have been probably here, or maybe even in the A tier after the Red Bull presentation, just with those photos alone. But after seeing it on track, it's dropped down a little bit because it looks worse in real life. So that's kind of the reasoning for that. But these are all subject to change pretty much. Even the V-Carb is subject to change, I feel like. Depending on how it looks relative to the other cars, I guess, on the track, like in real life. So that's kind of where I'm at with this. And then the Audi, I'm going to put it also in the C tier right now. I liked it, but not that much, and I was just kind of like annoyed that it was the same as the other one, as the concept photo that we saw. And also, yeah, this BP logo pisses me off, frankly. I don't think it looks good. It just completely ruins the vibe of this like very carefully color blocked car, all of a sudden we have a green thing there. I don't like that. But otherwise, the car I think looks pretty great. And it's also like it helps that there's not as many sponsors on it yet. So it still looks very clean and kind of like minimal, you know? But there's also like two different cars, by the way, because the one they showed at the presentation is different from the one that was shown in the video that was playing in the background. So the one that they've presented to us is actually not the real car, and presumably the one from the video footage is the real one. But I think that's less of a concern in terms of uh, like design and more of a concern in terms of aerodynamics or like trying to figure out what the car is actually going to look like and how it's going to function. So it doesn't really concern us right now, but just saying it's like an interesting thing that happened. And that's probably going to be the case for every team. But with Audi specifically, they accidentally kind of revealed the real car a little bit early. So we have that going on. But yeah, personally, this car, like I like it, but it's not necessarily my favorite. It is reminiscent of like the Chrome McLaren and the, McLaren MP4, in my opinion, the MP4 because like that really, that the blockiness of like the red and white versus here with like the red and black and silver, it's all very, very defined edges and very carefully blocked off. So that kind of reminds me of that car as well. But I don't know. It's not necessarily my favorite car. I think it's kind of like the Mercedes. It's very corporate looking, kind of bland. I really do like that, like the inside of like the air ducts is colored red, like at the airbox and also like at the side pods there. Like I think that is beautiful. That's a nice touch, and I feel like Mercedes tried to imitate that a little bit, consciously or unconsciously, but they did it too here. Like this air duct in the airbox is like it, also filled in with like teal. So thoughtful stuff, but otherwise, maybe Mercedes did do it intentionally because, Audi dropped like a render of the car back in November. So maybe Mercedes had time to like copy it. Oh, they've already made a Lego of it. That's cool. Very fun. But yeah, so for me, the Audi is gonna go in the C tier for now. It could change again. They have the Audi logo rotated. Shut up. Wait, I was just looking at this. What do you mean rotated? Oh, like at the front? Here at the on the nose of the car? Is that what you're talking about? That's actually so funny. Probably because it didn't fit, right? But they could have just made it smaller. I don't know why they rotated it. That's actually so funny. The model looks great though. Like honestly, this car looks better in Lego format than it does in real life. So that's kind of hilarious. I love that though. So yeah, we'll put it in the C tier, and then the Alpine is kind of in the D tier for me because this is 2025. Because it's just the same, basically the same, 99% the same as last year. They just kind of like moved some sponsors around inevitably because the car has changed shape. And then this tongue looking thing here at the, like on the nose. Because, before that they had the whole nose of the car was pink, and then on the sides of it there was some blue. Whereas now there's a little bit more blue on the front or the top of the nose. So the pink part to me looks like a tongue sticking out. And I don't like that. I think it doesn't look good. And again, just something that I didn't really like about the 2025 livery is just that the pink and the blue, and this is the best way to see it probably. The pink and the blue are so, oops. They're too close together, and so the contrast between them looks very jarring versus, for example, we were talking the oh my god, the 2024 Alpine bare as it was, stripped of paint as it was, like this was literally a black car. This car though, they put this really thick chunky outline on the BWT, so the contrast between the blue and the pink was softened a lot, and I think it actually helped to make the BWT stand out like in a nice way. I personally really like this car more than the 2025 or the 2026 versions. Because I feel like here, like, it's just too harsh. I don't know. They also changed the shade of pink and the shade of blue, but like that's a different story. I think that they could have used an outline. Maybe they thought that the white would blend in too much with this like bubblegum pink. I don't know. But regardless, I kind of feel like I don't really like this contrast. Also, look who's here, by the way. Microsoft. Is that in the new one? I guess they've always been there, huh? It's not. Oh, I guess they fully went to Mercedes then. Oh, that's really funny. That's hilarious. Oh, wow. Microsoft ditched Alpine. That's actually so funny. So like I like that we still have a pink car. I like the pink water team. I really do. I'm a big fan. I think we should have a pink car. If that has to happen because of a sponsor, then so be it. But I love that we have a pink car. I'm not complaining about that. I like that it's like the trans flag, even though apparently from what I could see in this chat, trans people are not a fan of this car, which is fair enough because again, it is kind of ugly. So, it's cool that it has the trans flag colors. It's cool that it's pink, but I think the execution could have been a lot better. So, yeah. For me, that's going in the D tier. Very uninspired, very unoriginal. They just rehashed the same thing. And it was not even good in the first place, what they rehashed. So, not great. That's where I'm gonna leave that. Unless for whatever reason it looks absolutely amazing on track, but I don't see that being the case. So, for now, this is the tier list. I think, yeah, you're right. I feel like they should, Jaden Stark, they should 100% just do a pink Alpine. Like 100% fully pink Alpine. I don't know why they keep, I mean, they keep sticking to the blue because technically Alpine's color is blue. But I really wish that they would just make a pink car. Like, just make it entirely pink. I think that would slay really hard. And I don't know why they haven't done that. So, yeah, I'm just going to leave the tier list like this for now. And if anything changes, then it will be reflected. But we still have plenty of liveries to talk about. This is 7 liveries so far. So we still have a lot coming up. So, you know, things will probably move around a lot. Things will change relative to, you know, the new things that start coming out as well. Like, compared to the other ones, where do they rank? So, plenty of time for this to change. There's a couple other things that I wanted to talk about before I leave, which will be soon. I don't think this will go on until 2. We'll probably end before, or like, you know, until the top of the hour, let's say. I will probably have to leave before then. But 2 interesting updates. Williams have announced that they will not be taking part in the Barcelona shakedown. This is kind of huge news, and I was pretty shocked to find this out because, like, hasn't Williams been working on this car for longer than any other team on the grid? So it seems kind of crazy that they are not prepared to go to the Barcelona shakedown, but the reason for this is basically that they have been failing the crash tests prior to the shakedown. They don't really say here the reason, do they? They don't. I think the way that Williams has framed it is like, Atlassian Williams F1 team has taken the decision not to participate. They've taken the decision not to participate. But that's not entirely true. The reason they're not participating is because they're not allowed to. So, so yeah, basically, they failed the crash test prior to being able to participate in like testing, like official testing. So that's why they um, are not able to participate. And it's so like, so, I don't know, so annoying because, again, like you would think that a team that has been working for so long on this year's car should have been prepared for that. But also, like, who knows? I mean, I don't know. Maybe um they still don't have enough resources, which seems weird because they made a lot of money. I would assume they made a lot of money in 2025. But yeah, it's basically Williams messed up. It's that simple. Um and it's annoying that it's Williams because I feel like it's kind of like they've been working so hard on this car, and it's such a shame that they're not able to participate. But it is what it is. I'm pretty shocked. I'm pretty disappointed, not gonna lie. I really hope that this doesn't mean, certain doom for them going forward. Like, I hope this doesn't necessarily put a hindrance on the 2026 season. I was reading that Braun GP back in the day also didn't get to participate. Didn't pass the crash test either uh, at that point, and it didn't really make a big difference to them at all because they still won, right? So you never know. You truly never know. But it is a shame because this is one of the biggest um, regulation changes in F1 history. And so these tests are super, super important for the teams, probably the most important testing session in a long time, right? And so for um, for Williams to miss out on this, like an entire week of track time, is very is not good. But anything could happen. There's still the Bahrain test, so they will have some time to do other stuff. They can do stuff, like locally in their own facilities. I think they said the team instead will be conducting a series of tests, including a virtual track testing program next week. I'm not sure if that means simulator work. But yeah, so they'll be doing their own things locally. So they won't like be completely like doing nothing, but it is a shame because, testing is going to be super important this season and missing out on one session feels like it might be crucial. But I don't know. We will see. I really hope that Williams is not already cooked because that would be pretty awful. Karmic long-term payback from firing Gotifi is insane, by the way. I hope you know that. But yeah, it's a little disappointing. I also wish that they could have all the time that they can to test, but again, it could also not affect them too much. So I really, really pray that Williams is not cooked. But moving on to the other piece of news, which is that F1 or the FOM will not be showing the first round of testing in Bahrain. They were both supposed to be broadcast, and now only the second week is going to be shown. And instead of that, what they're doing is showing an hour only of each test of each day. Here it is. According to F1 TV's available schedule, the first 3-day test will feature just 1 hour of coverage from 3 p.m. GMT, while the second week will be broadcast as planned. So basically, they're only going to give us 1 hour of footage of each day of the first week of testing. And that is insane. But the reason for that, I think, is very clear to me, and it's because they don't want to show, uh, a Mercedes car's engine blowing up. They don't want to show like, I don't know, a McLaren like stuck in the pit lane or in the garage for like 3 hours, unable to come out for reasons. They don't want to see like teams crashing into the wall like in silly ways. It's a pure marketing reason. It's got all to do with the sponsors. They know that these testing sessions are going to be um very fraught with accidents, with errors, with mistakes, with a lot of growing pains, a lot of like getting used to these cars, and really just trying and failing with them. And because, the cars are so new, the regulations are new, there's probably going to be a lot of those, a lot of mistakes, a lot of mishaps, a lot of accidents. And of course, the the sponsors don't want people to see that. They don't want us to see like the team they put so much money on and the car they put so much money on failing, essentially. So that's basically the reason. They don't want us to see the sort of the ugly side, as you said, Wafi Phoenix. So it's kind of a shame because I don't know. I understand that um, you know, we're not entitled to seeing every testing session, of course. I understand that there's things that teams maybe want to keep private, and that's okay. I respect that. But I feel like we were already promised that we were going to see the 2 sessions of like the Bahrain tests. Like we had like the Barcelona shakedown to be like the private test, and then we'll actually get to see the two Bahrain sessions. And so like now losing one of those sessions is kind of annoying because I feel like, I was pretty excited to see 2 rounds of testing and now it's only going to be one. But I mean, I guess it'll just be like every other year, where we only have just like the one testing session. But I do find it a little, I don't know, annoying. It's like that. I think that's kind of the beauty of testing. Like that's the purpose of testing too, is to test the cars and to make mistakes, and mistakes are okay. It just means that the team is figuring out what's wrong with the car and trying to make it better. Like it's that simple. I don't think anybody would have any preconceived notions that like, oh, this team crashed in a test, therefore they're absolutely cooked and like blah blah blah. We see every weekend how like of the season, how like from free practice to the race, like results could be completely different, for better or for worse, right? Like how many times has Alonso like been in the top 3 of an FP session, and then the Aston Martin in the actual race was like not even in the points. How many times have we seen that? Or it DNFs entirely. So yeah, this is just the purpose of tests, and I'm kind of annoyed that like they think that we won't recognize that as viewers. I don't know. Whatever. Like personally, I would just like to know what's going on. And seeing an hour of just like the highlights, like I think that's fine, but they could just have both. I feel like show us the whole testing sessions for those of us who do want to watch it, and then have the highlights for people who don't want to watch the whole thing, or um who don't have time to watch all the practice sessions. That's all fair and good. So I don't know, but I'm kind of annoyed that we're just getting like a curated version of the test. Like I would like to be able to judge for myself, as opposed to having it curated for me by the FOM and give me like potentially a false idea of how these cars are actually running. So I don't know. Again, of course, obviously in tests, you can only glean so much. Like we're never going to have full 100% accurate information of how the teams are doing, and even if we watch every single moment of every single test. But yeah, I kind of would prefer to like judge for myself. But whatever. And also, yeah, exactly. We're kind of they do not care for F1 withdrawal symptoms. Like we're missing out on F1 content. Like we're just not getting as much as we thought we would. And like, yeah, the people yearn for F1 content. It's been a minute. So I don't know. Whatever. This just, I guess, happens. There's nothing we can really do about that. Obviously, money has all the power. But yeah, it's all right. I guess we'll just have to make do with what we have, and we'll probably comment on those hour-long highlight videos that they will give us, and just sort of go from there. And you're commenting about Apple TV versus F1. Yeah, I am also wondering about how that will be, because I don't know, like, is it possible that the production value of like the broadcast will go up with Apple? I don't know how much control Apple will have over that. I thought that was all independent from like ESPN or whoever. Like, I thought it was more like to do with the FOM itself, like it was separate, and then like ESPN or Apple TV just have like the rights to stream it. I don't know how that works. But if there's a chance that the production value will go up, then that's good, because obviously, you know, we saw that last year the broadcast was a lot of times less than ideal. In particular, it was Singapore, right? That Singapore coverage was absolutely dismal. So, oh yeah, for anybody who doesn't know, Formula One will now from this season onwards will be streamed on Apple TV, instead of ESPN or Hulu or all of those services. I don't know if Sky Sports will be showing it. I assume so, but I don't know. But yeah, Apple TV will be showing it. So it's just kind of, to me, it's a little annoying, because it just means like, you know, another, only in the USA. Okay. My apologies. So if you're in the USA, you're going to have to get Apple TV, and you won't be able to use ESPN. So that is, in my opinion, a little bit annoying, because like, I don't want to have to hire another streaming service. And also, like, I'm annoyed that Apple is such a big monopoly. They kind of own everything now. I don't like that they're owning F1 too. But yeah, my biggest concern is if they do have like control over the broadcast. I'm sure they'll get some control over like maybe some of the overlays and some of the like transitions and ads and things that they put in. The graphics. I'm sure they'll have some control over that. And I worry that they are going to push Formula One even further away from sport and toward entertainment. You know, because we already have like too much of that, where like F1 is like not so much a sport anymore, just more like a fun, it's more like a TV show, or like a telenovela kind of thing, right? It's just like a soap opera more than like a sporting competition. So that's why I kind of would rather that, or I hope that they don't like, you know, change the way that F1 is presented, I guess, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'm a little bit wary, I guess, of Apple TV, but I guess we will see. It remains to be seen. But I mean, they did a good job with the F1 movie, but again, that was very much like presenting F1 in a very sensationalized, spectacular way, right? For like new audiences. So I fear that they might just be like trying to do that again, right? Like tailor F1 more towards new viewers, which is fine. I think that's okay. But tailoring it in a way that's very like subservient to that like drive to surviveification of Formula One, right? Where it's just become like entertainment. It's more like a TV show or like a reality show or a even just like, I don't know, like K-pop, like boy bands or something like that. Like that's just kind of what it feels like now more than just like a sport, right? So hopefully it doesn't go further in that direction, but it remains to be seen. Um, just hoping and praying. And hopefully it's not too expensive. I don't even know how much it costs. But uh remove Danica. I'm pretty sure Danica is on Sky Sports, right? So probably Apple TV will have no control over that because they have different commentators. Um so um yeah, I just hope that it's not um non F1 fans know who the drivers are, which it doesn't happen in many sports. I feel like it happens in some sports. Like at least the very famous drivers or the very famous like sportsmen of any or athletes of any sport will be known. Like I feel like everybody can name a couple football players, a couple tennis players, a couple like American football players, basketball players. Like I can name a couple people in each sport. So I feel like I don't think it's too rare that people know the names of like, for example, like Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen, Charles Leclerc. Like I feel like they're pretty well known. So I don't think it's super rare. And also, I don't know, Lewis Hamilton in particular gets himself involved in a lot of non F1 things. So, or yeah, Lando Norris. So, yeah. F1 needs more women and gays. I agree. I agree with that. I agree with that. I feel like it's not a gay enough sport or a women friendly enough sport. Um, but that's a different that's a different question that would take a long time to unpack, and I am not I don't have time to do that right now because I have some obligations. So, um this is how we're gonna leave the livery ranking for now. I don't know again who made this, so I assume it'll get updated um, over time as more liveries come out. So we might have to like redo this every every time just to get the updated version. But this is more or less how it looks right now. Um, and we will continue to see where we put the rest of the liveries. Um, and um, and yeah, that's pretty much it for today. Let's look at the calendar. 2026 livery launch schedule, just for us to get a sense of what is upcoming. This is not updated. Why isn't there like a fully updated one? That's so odd. Maybe Sky Sports will tell us. Okay, so we have these. These are the ones we've already seen. Red Bull, V-Carb, Haas, Audi. And then we have the Barcelona shakedown next week. Mercedes, Ferrari, and Alpine. This is where we're at right now. Next up after this, we have Williams on February 3rd, which will be exciting. I don't believe they're doing like an event. I think they're just going to drop like a video, kind of like what Ferrari did and what Haas did. So that'll be exciting. I hope it looks really good. I'm very excited about that. We'll also comment on the Williams merch, which just dropped fully on the website, and we should go through that when we talk about the Williams livery because it is I like it a lot. I think it's really cool. Yeah, so February 3rd, Williams. February 8th, Cadillac, and again, a reminder that it's going to be an ad during the Super Bowl. It's not, I mean, they'll probably post the ad somewhere, but it is going to be an ad. It's not going to be like a live show or anything like that. So if you didn't really plan to watch the Super Bowl, you might have to if you want to like stay updated. So yeah, watch out for that one. I will probably have to watch the Super Bowl, which I didn't really want to, but now I'll probably have to. And then February 9th, we have McLaren, which will be, I think they will do an event from Bahrain already because it's happening the same way as at the same time as the Bahrain test. Sorry, I saw a comment about Antonio Lobato and I'm like, what is going on? Oh, I see. Is this about like the ad? The ¿Quieres saber cuánto vale tu coche? En compramostucoche.es. Oh my god. That ad plagued everybody in Spain for months. It was horrible. Jesus. So February 9th, McLaren, and also Aston Martin on the same day. I don't know if they will be doing an event as well. Presumably, yes, because Aston Martin has the big bucks, so they can probably afford to do an event. We also saw the Honda livery launch, but that was a separate thing. They will be revealing the actual livery and probably the race suit and all of that on February 9th. So same day as McLaren, presumably not at the same time, but I sure hope not. And that should be it. So that's all the teams that we have left. So actually, yeah, we've seen 7 teams and we have 4 left. So very exciting off-season thus far, in my opinion. We will be looking out for that. Also, next week, we'll be looking out, of course, for the Barcelona shakedown, see what comes out of that. If there are any interesting rumors, obviously, we're only going to be able to learn so much, but it'll be exciting. And then we'll be discussing whatever new liveries come out, the Williams livery, the Williams merch. So Williams is on February 3rd. We'll probably do a live stream to talk about it, perhaps, or if not, maybe on February 8th, once we have the Cadillac one. I'll see what I do. But regardless, I will let you know what I do. And now, I think that's pretty much it for me. Hope you have enjoyed the stream, as always. And have a good Friday. Have a good rest of your week. Have a good weekend. Have a good everything. And I will see you all in the next one very soon, hopefully. Alrighty. I hope the stream hasn't been super delayed. But yeah, have a good Friday, have a good weekend, and I will see you all very soon. All right. Bye. Whoa, 2,000 views, that's a lot. Maybe.